In our previous videos, we have dealt with the dental anatomy of permanent mandibular second premolar from the buccal, lingual, mesial and the distal aspect. In this video, we will be dealing with the occlusal aspect of this tooth. Watch the video till the end to understand it well. Hi, we at DentoRise welcome you all to a platform where we help you to conceptualize, visualize and memorize dentistry. We know that the dental anatomy of permanent mandibular second premolar shows variations when we talk about the number of cusps. When three cusps are present in this tooth, it is called as the three-cusp type of tooth. When two cusps are present, it is called as the two-cusp type. In this video, we will be dealing with the occlusal aspect of both these types in detail. Coming to the first generalized heading for both these types, that is the shape from the occlusal aspect. In a three-cusp type of permanent mandibular second premolar, the shape of occlusal aspect is square, while in a two-cusp type, the shape of the occlusal aspect is round. Please observe the figure very carefully. Now let's talk about the cusps in a three-cusp type of tooth. In the three-cusp type, one cusp is present buccally and two cusps are present lingually. The cusp which is present towards the buccal surface is called as the buccal cusp. The cusp which is present lingually towards the mesial surface is called as the mesiolingual cusp. The cusp which is present lingually towards the distal surface is called as the distolingual cusp. If we compare the sizes of these three cusps, then the buccal cusp is the largest cusp, followed by the mesiolingual cusp, then followed by the distolingual cusp, which is the shortest among these three. The ridges of all these three cusps are very well developed. If we talk about the cusps in a two-cusp type of tooth, then one cusp is present buccally, which is called as the buccal cusp, and one cusp is present lingually, which is called as the lingual cusp. Lingual cusp is present directly opposite to that of the buccal cusp. Now let's talk about the grooves and the fossa present in the three-cusp type. Overall, if we see grossly, then the occlusal aspect of this tooth has a Y shape. This Y shape is formed by three grooves ending up in a central pit. Therefore, if we start from the central pit and then move in a mesiobuccal direction as shown in the figure with yellow, the groove is called as the mesial developmental groove. This mesial developmental groove ends up in the mesial triangular fossa marked in the figure with yellow. This mesial triangular fossa is present distal to the mesial marginal ridge, very well evident in the figure. Again, starting from the central pit and then moving in the distobuccal direction, the groove is called as the distal developmental groove marked in the figure in blue. This distal developmental groove then ends up in the distal triangular fossa marked in the figure in blue. This distal triangular fossa is present mesial to the distal marginal ridge. Again, starting from the central pit and then moving lingually, we have the lingual developmental groove. This lingual developmental groove runs between the two lingual cusps and end on the lingual surface of the crown just below the convergence of the lingual cusp ridges. This groove is not present in the center of the crown. Rather, it is present distal to the center of the crown. Please observe the figure very carefully. If you are not clear with the concepts of grooves, fossa, triangular fossa, pits, etc., please do check out our playlist on landmarks of the tooth. The link is given in the description box below. Therefore, these grooves converge in a central pit and form a Y shape on the occlusal surface, as we have already discussed. Developmental grooves are often deep. Supplemental grooves and depressions are often seen radiating from the developmental groove. Thus, just by visualizing the figure, we can memorize the dental anatomy very well, not only for this tooth but other teeth as well. So, if we locate the central pit on the occlusal surface of this tooth, then buccolingually central pit is present in the exact center buccally and lingually. But mesiodistally, this central pit is slightly distal to the central point between the mesial and the distal marginal ridges. Please observe the red dot which represents the central pit. Now let's talk about the grooves and the fossa in a two-cusp type of permanent mandibular second premolar. In a two-cusp type, we have the buccal and the lingual cusps separated by a central developmental groove which runs in the mesiodistal direction marked in the figure with red. This central developmental groove may be straight or most often it is crescent shaped. This groove ends up mesially into the mesial fossa marked in the figure with green and distally into the distal fossa marked in the figure with yellow. It is to note that we are not calling it as mesial triangular fossa or distal triangular fossa because these fossas are roughly circular depressions. These are not triangular but these are circular. These fossas have supplemental grooves and depressions radiating from the central groove and its terminals. If we talk about the pits in a two-cusp type of tooth, we have two pits named as the mesial developmental pit and the distal developmental pit. These pits are centered in the mesial and the distal fossa. There is one feature which is present only in the two-cusp type of second premolar and not in the three-cusp type, that is the presence of a developmental depression. This developmental depression crosses the distal lingual cusp ridge. Please observe the figure very carefully. So this was all about the occlusal aspect of permanent mandibular second premolar. Both the variations of three-cusp type and two-cusp type were discussed under the headings of shape, cusps present, the ridges present, the grooves, fossas and the pits. Hope the content was helpful for you. If you like our content, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon so that you can get notified whenever we upload any new video. Suggestions are always welcome from your side. Stay tuned, stay safe. Thank you for watching.